For the last 20 years, I've been creating habitats for wildlife all around the UK, England, Scotland, Wales, and even as far abroad as Panama. And that's everything from postage stamp back gardens in the middle of London through to several acre sites and everything in between, wildlife ponds, wildflower meadows, native tree planting schemes, down to insect hotels and herbaceous borders. And I've even created a 20 square metre mini wildlife garden in my own front garden in the last video on this channel, which I'll put a link to at the end of this one. But I've always had bigger plans. I've always wanted my own space where I can create an absolute haven for wildlife on a landscape scale. Well, from the 28th of March, that dream became a reality. I feel so incredibly fortunate to have been given the opportunity to become custodian of a 200-year-old Georgian garden, which unfortunately has been over-managed for at least 40 years. So it's my time now to really turn this garden into something special. So all that I've done to this garden so far is mown some paths in early April and some areas for my dogs to run around and children to play in. The rest has been left because I am busy planning what I'm going to do next. But by simply not mowing most of the lawn area surrounding the house, it has been incredible to see the amount of wildflowers and the amount of wildlife that is already turning up without even putting a spade in the ground. Just some of the wildlife, for example, that I've seen in and around this garden since being here in a little under 1 month have been things such as tawny owls at night. They've been flying through the trees. We've got little owls as well we've seen during the day. There's a barn owl that hunts locally. It's hunting over the meadows at the back of the house in the evening time. There's been a kestrel locally that is enjoying our ash trees on the boundary. There's also things like tawny mining bees, which I've found a colony of just underneath the very beech tree I'm sat under now, mining their way into the really nice sandy soils that we have here in the garden. And I've found at least 15 nests of these wonderful little bees and them going in and out over the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've also had things like holly blue butterflies turn up around the myriad of hollies that are in the front garden, which is absolutely wonderful to see. And as well as that, we've also had plants such as ground ivy popping up everywhere, dandelions, red dead nettle, even one of my favourite plants, garlic mustard, which I was absolutely elated to see, which is of course the larval food plant of my favourite butterfly, the orange tip, which has been gracing me with its presence over the last 2 to 3 days. And probably my favourite of all the wildflowers to start showing is this beautiful carpet of bluebells behind me, which are thoroughly enjoying this dappled shade underneath this row of what we believe is over a 200-year-old hedgerow, which has been let to grow into trees. And what magnificent trees they now are. And whilst we're on the topic of trees, there are many to be found within this garden. It's one of the reasons I first fell in love with this place, because we've got things such as a magnificent Monterey cypress, almost 60 feet in height now, believed to be around about 100 years old. Absolutely beautiful tree, that is, an evergreen tree more synonymous with North America, but is thriving here in these well-drained sandy soils. We've also got lots of ash trees around the margins, sycamore trees, yew trees, poplar trees, and many smaller trees and shrubs, including over 200 individual specimens that make up a really nice hedge around the boundary of the south and the west side of this property, which creates really good nesting potential for birds and is a beautiful copper beech as well. So a wonderful colour in the middle of summertime. Now, whilst doing some research on this house and the gardens, we know that it is at least 200 years old. We believe it was built in 1824, which makes it 201 years old this year, which is absolutely wonderful. So old, in fact, it still has a secondary staircase that was used solely by the servants of this house. So it just gives a nice nod to the history and how different things were some 200 years ago. We also discovered that it used to have within its grounds, which extended to some 124 acres, it had an old dairy, it had many outbuildings, it had a cottage or two on the grounds itself, pleasure gardens, a tennis court, kitchen garden, and even a well-stocked orchard. So guess whether the tennis court is probably going to be unearthed when I choose to put my wildlife pond in a given spot. Of course, with a house of this age, it is steeped in history, and I can't wait to speak to some of the locals, one of which who lives opposite, and his grandparents lived in this house 100-ish years ago. So I'm really looking forward to meeting some more of the locals and hopefully bringing you some interviews on the history of this place and what it entails. Some of the scandalous stories that we've read when we've been researching back in the 1800s, and some of the tragedies linked to this house as well. So an absolute wealth of history in videos to come. But of course, my main focus and the main content for this channel is going to be on the garden and how I'm going to transform it, how I'm going to bring back some of those original features. Maybe not the tennis court, but of course things like the kitchen garden. I want to create more formal areas with herbaceous borders, maybe even a formal pond similar to what I made in my last house. And also more habitats like you're used to me creating, things such as a wildlife pond, or maybe 2 or 3, as well as herbaceous borders, wildflower meadows, native trees and shrubs, and a mini orchard. So if it's good for wildlife, you can guarantee it's going to feature on this channel, in this garden, in a video to come. I'm also in talks with the local farmer about how we can transform some of the land around this house into more habitable places for wildlife and increase the floral and fauna diversity. So please stay tuned, subscribe to this channel, and come along with me on this incredible journey over the coming months and many years, and watch how I can turn this 200-year-old Georgian garden into something quite special for humans and nature alike. Thanks for watching.